Hi everyone, I'm Jim Masters, CUTV News. Thanks for joining us. You know, many of us have parents who sacrificed and worked diligently so their children could have a better life. And we, the children, are then faced with the challenges of how to make our parents' lives the best they can be as they age. This is where Parent Your Parents, a senior concierge services company, could be of tremendous help and support to face that very challenge. Parent Your Parents is a consulting firm led by Reaves and accompanied by a robust team of experts that guides families through the myriad of elder care options in the United States. The company works on the non-medical side of senior care to advocate for seniors and teach adult children how to parent your parents. Reaves joins me right now for an exclusive interview today on CUTV News. Frances, welcome. It's great to have you with us today.
It's so good to be with you, Jim.
So you were in a situation where your parents were aging and then you were forced with choices and different things that were coming at you that might have been foreign and new to you, right?
Well, and not just to me. They would be foreign and new to you as well, Jim. I mean, here's basically what happened. Mom and Dad lived in Houston, and my brother in Atlanta, me in Florida. And we'd go once a month to visit, and we all knew Mother was forgetful. And then we had this big birthday party when Dad turned 90 and realized that this forgetfulness was full-blown Alzheimer's. At which point we chastised ourselves because we'd sort of been ignoring it, and then we had to fly into action because my father was her caretaker. And as you may or may not know, caretakers, because of the stress put on them, will often die before the person with the illness.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we totally were on top of this as far as taking care of Dad. We had to move them to Atlanta and get them into a nursing home. We got them into a nursing home, and it turns out that they couldn't live together. Now, while we're doing all of this, I am flying back and forth from Miami to Houston once every 2 weeks, emptying the house, selling their treasures, trying to decide what to have, what not to have, and then in the end, selling the house. And you have to deal with Medicare. And I realized, oh my gosh, no one prepared me for this. And navigating this process, it's only hard and complicated because the system makes it so. And Medicare itself, like it's called Medicare Advantage, you can have an HMO or a PPO. An HMO is basically a health maintenance organization. What they do is they add a little bit and and you go to Medicare doctors. Now, the bad news is because Medicare, this is my experience, not just with my parents, but also with my clients. Medicare docs run these seniors through as if they're in an assembly line. They give them each 15 minutes and always taking their blood pressure, busying themselves.
So it's not like they're people or human. So seeing all of that, how did you go from there? What was the next step when you saw all of this going on and you realized this is your mother and your father?
So we found a better place for my mother. And we fired my father's doctor and that HMO. We got him a PPO, which is a preferred provider organization. But that doctor comes to my father at his assisted living center. And my father hasn't been to the emergency room since. I don't know, tell me I'm silly. But this is the sort of thing we don't foresee. I mean, I didn't even know this sort of thing existed. So the key to almost all of this is pre-planning, because every parent is going to tell you they want to die in their home. And,
yes. Yeah.
And rightly so.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Absolutely.
And we hope they do.
We've seen that. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. You're right.
But it doesn't. So you have to start this when your parents are young. And I mean, you're not going to parent your parents until they are really old and infirm. But to do it right in our estimation at our Parent Your Parents group, what you have to do is you have to ask them the questions. When they're 60, when they're 70, you know, when they're talking about it, when they feel they can, because, you know, at 85, my mother was already in the full throes of Alzheimer's. She couldn't make a decision. So it's all about pre-planning, and you have to ask the really difficult questions. Their financial health.
Is there a will?
Is there a will? Do you own your home? Do you have your home and your monies in a trust? Is it a revocable trust? Is it an irrevocable trust? Are you going to sell the house? Do you have to move? And that's really where we shine.
What else do you think distinguishes Parent Your Parents from anybody else there who may do something similar?
Well, here's what distinguishes us. We are on the non-medical side.
Which means, how do you define that?
That means I'm not going to tell you that you need this shot. I'm not going to tell you that, give you a diagnosis or pretend that I might know a diagnosis because I've seen it in someone else. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask your children to go to the doctors with you because I want that doctor to know, A, that he's being watched now because somebody loves that person.
As an advocate, yeah.
Yep, as an advocate. And if they can't go, you know what, we'll hire a nurse to go with them. Or if they want one of us to go with them, of course we'll do that, but it's really not our specialty. You know, you want a loved one to go, be it a grandchild or a child. If we suspect something on the Medicare doctor's side that they're not getting the treatment they should get, we ask for those records and give them to our MD. Now, she's not going to treat them. She's going to say, I think they should get a second opinion. That's all she's going to say. So it's a little bit infringing on the medical side, but barely.
But barely,
It's only because most people don't think about it.
So let's recap for people watching who are really interested in making that connection with Parent Your Parents and getting the ball rolling, at least early, and reviewing for what Parent Your Parents actually does. Go over again for us the benefits of dealing with Parent Your Parents and some of the phenomenal things that the company offers to people.
Thank you for saying phenomenal.
I've done my research.
Jim, here's what we do. We take a holistic approach. You're going to call us, and we're going to look at your home. We're going to ask you the question, should your parents be living together? Is one more ill than the other? The second thing we're going to do is we're going to say, what are the finances? Do they have, is it a lot of money? Is it a little bit of money? Is it enough for this much time? What are their insurance policies? What have they guarded against? Or have they just been having a great time and sort of not dealt with it? Because we still can. And in meeting the parents, I can also see where they are with their, what we call ADLs. Adult daily living. I mean, do they use a walker? Are they getting up and down the stairs just fine? Is the house flat? The other thing we discuss is the planning the passing of a parent. That's the last bullet on our list because we think it's an important part just because of the finances involved. And we don't want you to spend too much money because you're under so much stress, and it's not really what anybody, including your parent, would have wanted. So, and then we monitor those hospitals. I mean, we tell you, you don't want your parent in a hospital at all, but if they're there, after 3 days, ask every day, why can't they leave? Why can't they leave? So what I'm saying, it's just the holistic look away from the medical side, so that you know.
It's beautiful work that you do, Frances. Thank
Jim,
you so
thank
much for
you.
sharing your story.
Thank you.
And the story of your company that is doing wonderful things to, again, make the world a better place. Frances Reaves, you're a gem. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Again, it's really amazing and it's very touching, but it's also vital and important.
It is.
So we wish you continued success with Parent Your Parents.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jim.
you for being with us.
You bet.
To learn more about our special guest, Frances Reaves, and Parent Your Parents, visit parentyourparents.com. For CUTV News, I'm Jim Masters. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.